Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of no ages, welcome to the Top Keck Podcast. My name is Nick, and with me, as always, is Max. How's it going there, Maxie?
Welcome to Podcast Land. Hi, everybody. It's good to see your smiling faces.
You can see through your computer screen.
Listen, man, I'm always watching, you know? The feds, they're always watching. I'm watching the feds. They're watching me. What are we doing here? Any fucking ways, man. Housekeeping?
Always housekeeping.
Cool. Let me pull up. I made a note, a list on my phone. Normally I'd make it in podcast notes, but, you know. All right. So work updates. I have a job, pretty much.
A tentative job.
Yeah, it's the same but different. So they made me an offer yesterday. A local, I almost said the name of the dealership. The local dealership, which is a pretty big dealership here in Maryland. In New York, actually, I learned they have a bunch of high-end dealerships in New York as well. They offered me a job as an estimator. So we went over some numbers. I met kind of the head honcho, the head guy in charge. He seems like a pretty cool guy, actually. He's a dealership guy, right? So he's got the nice suit with the little fucking neckerchief. You know what I mean? Like he's dressed very well. He's wearing I think he was wearing a Submariner. I couldn't tell. A very expensive Rolex. I don't know if it was Daytona or Submariner. I don't know.
Submariner.
Fuck off, dude. I don't know watches. I'm broke. But it was. I could definitely tell that it was indeed a Rolex. It was pretty big bezel. It was like a 41, I think, or a little bit bigger. But decent sized Rolex. And so just based on his shoes and his suit, I mean, he does all right. So, and it's actually kind of crazy because when you walk into the dealership, they have a locked door. So like they have the main dealership with the showroom and shit. And then they have this locked door. Then you go through the locked door and then he has his own personal assistant. And then back in the fucking cut behind another locked door is him. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but the man's the HNIC. So anyways, I sat down with him. We talked about the car business and, you know, what he's trying to do with the dealership shop and what the expectations of me as a writer are. And, you know, they wanted to bring me on, which is cool because I'm like that. So, yeah, we just had some talks about salary. And salary is a big thing. He asked me how much money I want to make, and I said, there's no limit to how much money I want to make. He's like, well, how much did you make? I was like, I don't really like to talk about X. Let me say this, pro tip for those who are uncultured. It's wise to not make the first salary offer. At the very least, it's wise to hesitate. And so I basically told him, like, listen, I don't talk about ex-girlfriends, with all due respect. But I can tell you that I know how much money I need to make to support my bills. And I live relatively cheaply, so I definitely overshot that by a lot, but I just kind of half-assed threw a number out there. I was like, yeah, dude, I need to make, you know, to cover my bills and the things that I like, and, you know, I have cars and I'm guns and I have pretty expensive hobbies, so you know, a guy like me, I need to make at least 80,000. You know, the number needs to start with an 8. He goes, okay, yeah, da-da-da-da. So the body shop manager who calls, you know, I've been dealing with this whole time as well too, calls me yesterday and goes, hey man, we want to bring you on. And then he told me, you know, the salary, the compensation. So I get a base salary, like a weekly salary. It's not a lot, but it is a guarantee, so it's something. And then he told me the commission number, and I've never heard of a shop doing this ever. But they want to pay me 4% of the total sales that I write. Now, normally when you work at a body shop, they pay you off your gross profit, which is a much more, I don't want to say reasonable, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you want to write a lot of tickets, like a large volume of tickets, but they also have to have a good profit margin, because if the margin sucks, you're not making as much money. You know what I mean? So it's the incentive to make sure that you're still doing a good job while, you know, while maintaining the, you know, the margin for the dealership or the shop, and obviously, you know, you want to do well too. And when he said that, I was like, 4% of all sales? I said, is 4% gross profit or total sales? He said, no, total sales. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, knowing what I can write in a month or a year or what have you, that is a substantial raise, a very, very substantial raise compared to what I was making at my last shop. And so that's fucking cool because I want to buy a truck. So yeah.
Max is going to buy a Honda Grom as his daily driver?
No, I'm going to buy a Honda Ridgeline, bro. Could you fucking imagine me in like a CRV? Beep, beep.
If you buy a Ridgeline, I might just have to stop talking to you.
No, dude, I fucking hate Ridgelines for a number of reasons. Dude, fuck Ridgelines. Okay, a Ridgeline isn't even a truck, right? No. I don't know if you know that. It's literally a car.
Yeah, it is a fucking truck body on a car chassis.
And not only that, the way they're built is retarded. So, like, if you get hit in the bed on a Ridgeline, they have the outer skin of the bed, right? The bed side, you know, or the bed panel, which is, like, standard. And then everything inside is all one piece. So, like, if you get just hit a little bit too hard on the bed, you have to put the whole ass end on the truck. It's fucking retarded. It is the dumbest shit. It's the poorest fucking design. I'm sure it's really safe, okay? I'm sure they've a 5-star crash safety rating, but you can't haul shit with it. You can't put shit in the back of it. And if some jack-off in a fucking 1993 Honda Civic hits you at 20 over dead in the side of the bed, your truck is a total loss.
And it's got those stupid fucking things on the sides of the bed.
Dude, yeah, it's got the little fucking fuck Hondas. Like, yeah. I love Honda cars that just kill the Ridgeline. Fucking kill it. And it's still like a $45,000 or $50,000 truck.
Mm-hmm.
Go buy a fucking F-150 or a Silverado or something.
Mine is not a optioned out F-150 by any means, but a pretty nice truck, and it is cheaper than that.
Yeah, dude, and your truck can tow more, your truck can haul more, your truck has more space, your truck has a better four-wheel drive system because, let's be honest, Honda's real-time all-wheel drive, whatever the fucking shit's called now, it's dog water compared to a modern fucking transfer case. Fuck Honda, bro. I love Honda cars, dude. I've had, I think, 13 different Honda cars. The RSX, I think, was number 13. I've had tons of Hondas. Most of them, a lot of them broke because I beat the fuck out of them. But, like, if I maintained them and didn't dog the shit out of them, they would have lasted. I just like to buy and sell because I wanted to build and try new shit. But, dude, fuck Honda trucks. Anyways, yeah, it's a W, man. I'm glad I've been out of work for like 2 months, so it's good to be back. I just texted him to confirm. He said he wanted to double check and make sure that the salary was 100% correct, which that's a fucking sizable offer. So, yeah, and I don't see how it would be because if it's the same percentage of GP, that would be like I would make like $40,000 a year, and no one would take that. Like the amount that you would have to write is impossible to make any kind of living on that. So. Yeah, I might be making a dickload more money than I had previously anticipated.
No longer max frags, it's all max bags.
Yeah, just, dude, I'm getting to the bag. This is a heavy bag, bro. He called me and my phone, I felt like I was going to drop it. It was just the bag was too heavy. So I'm fucking pumped about that, man, because I'm ready to get back in. And the shop is in like a transitionary period where they're trying to make some changes. They have a new management structure in place. I actually know the manager from Nissan. I used to do business with him when I sold parts at Nissan, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, man, I'm excited to get started. And they don't have DRPs, which I think I've told you before, Nick, but I'll explain it for anyone who might be listening. A DRP is a direct repair program for major insurance companies. Tons of insurance companies have them. Most body shops survive based on DRPs. And basically, a DRP is an agreement with an insurance company. They will send you a certain amount of cars per week, month, what have you, depending on your negotiation. And you will give them discounted rates. You will agree to use certain types of parts. You'll agree to get the cars done in a certain amount of time, like, you know, give their cars priority, stuff like that. And basically what it means is that we're the insurance company's bitch, and what they say, you know, they say jump and we say how high. And I can't fucking stand that because they be having us do some dumb shit. You know, a good example is, I thought about saying the insurance company, but that might come back to bite me in the ass, so I'll keep my mouth shut. But there's a major insurance company out there that I used to work for a shop that was a direct repair facility for, and their procedure was that if you had to order the cheapest bumper that is available, right? So if you order that and it doesn't fit or it comes in damaged, you have to order the next cheapest one from a different manufacturer, like a different supplier. If that doesn't fit or is damaged, then you have to order the next upper one, which is the highest level of certification. It's called a CAPA certification for aftermarket bumper. And then if that one doesn't fit or is damaged, then you can put an OEM bumper on the car. So we would have a car that would come in for literally just putting a bumper on. Your bumper comes in, stand it down, paint it, hang it on the car. Right, 2-day job max. Really a day job if you plan it well. That would be in our shop for a week. And then they'd be like, well, your guys' cycle time sucks. You have bumper jobs sitting there for a week. Yeah, no fucking shit, we have bumper jobs sitting here for a week. So fucking retarded. It makes my blood boil just thinking about it. But, same people who told me, well, you're going to have to go ahead and order that third bumper. I get to tell them, suck my dick. I'm not doing it. You can call your customer, but they're not taking it to one of your shitty shops. So that's going to be, I feel vindicated. So yeah, man, it's cool. It's a new opportunity. It's has the potential to be incredibly lucrative, and that is exciting. Nick's been working 8 million hours. He is a slave. He is a wage slave now.
I'm a wage slave now.
He refuses to unionize because he's too stupid. I'm trying to think of all the caricatures of the sort of far left critique of capitalism.
Yeah, for real. But I have not been paying taxes.
Dude, I'm telling you, that is gonna come back to bite you in the ass, and I'm gonna laugh at you so hard.
Fuck it.
I mean, listen, you're probably significantly more armed than the IRS, so...
I don't know. The IRS has their own SWAT team.
Do they really?
Yeah, every branch of every like section of the government has their own SWAT team. Even the post office.
Oh my god! I was gonna say, yeah, the post office has one too. That's right. For what? Like you just like stealing mail or something, and they're just like, all right, this is our chief.
We're gonna get him.
Porch pirate. He's stealing the Amazon packages. We gotta go get him, boys.
Oh boy!
What a fucking joke. Could you imagine being? It's like, yeah, yeah, baby. You're at a bar flirting with a girl. It's like, yeah, baby, I'm on the SWAT team. And they're like, oh, you're on the SWAT team for, like, the state police or, like, Howard County police? You're like, no, baby. I work for the federal government. Oh, well, which branch? Parcel delivery. Oh, my God, dude. What a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, so you've been working. They're trying to get you to work 7s, huh?
Yeah, they're trying to be like, oh, you guys can work 7 days a week? I was like, I'm sure someone can, but it sure as fuck ain't gonna be me.
Yeah, hey, listen, I can work 7 days a week. Now, will I work 7 days a week? Hell no.
No shot. Absolutely no shot in hell.
Yeah, that's just not it.
You could pay me, like, quadruple time, and then maybe.
I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was writing estimates, right, like just what I've been doing forever, and fuck any other pay plan that I have, if they paid me $1,500 in cash to come in on a Sunday, let alone a Saturday, a Sunday, I would probably say no. I just don't need the money. It's like, dude, I
do, and they can still go fuck themselves.
Yeah, bro, like that's just not it. That's just not it, man. Like
it's just it ain't happening. Like just
yeah,
full stop. Like my dad is the one in charge of the general contractor because he's like the facilities manager at the place we're working, and
nepotism.
I even told him no.
Yeah, and your dad's like a super reasonable guy, so he's probably like, fuck that.
Yeah, right
like,
now.
I mean, I'm sure if the guys want to work, he's like, yeah, let him work, but like, he's not gonna make anyone. I don't think.
I mean, it's technically illegal to force overtime on someone, but it looks like the drywall company is getting persuaded into 7 days a week because they are considerably behind in holding up the rest of us.
Well, listen, they gotta get their shit together. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
It needs to be done August 4th. Like that is the hard stop deadline of this job.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely no fucking shot in hell.
Yeah, I mean, what is that, like 3 weeks? Yeah, one. So this week,
like
1,
weeks.
next week 2, next week 3, and then the 4th is that Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's about 3 weeks.
So like, I was talking to him. I was like, I'd like to know, and he's like to know what? I was like, whatever you're smoking, so that I can see it too.
Yeah, bro. I like to ask people, give me your weed man's number.
Yeah.
Because the shit you're on is something different.
Like, if I had a picture of this place to put up, which I don't, and I'm never going to, because fuck this place.
Hell yeah.
Everyone would be able to see that there's like the entire back half of the building doesn't even have walls yet.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Like,
now the drywall guys, are they doing
they're the framing and the drywall guys.
Oh, so they're doing everything. Yeah, dude, they're fucked for real. They are fucked.
Like, and it's come down to it, it is the place we are renovating's fault, sort of, that in the government, because they didn't have a construction permit for like 6 months.
Yep.
So like, if
Can't
we
do
had
shit without that.
If we had been in there working for that 6 months, easy peasy, we'd be done.
Yeah.
But
shit, dude. Well, and this just based on like the things that you've told me about that job, it's not like a bullshit job, but I mean, dude, also it's a fucking construction site. Like, how many different people need to not fuck up to get it to run smoothly?
Like,
you know what I mean?
My company alone has had like 6 or 7 different foremen in here. So like, and our foreman now, he's been at our company alone for 32 years. So like, he knows his shit. Mm-hmm. And even he is like overwhelmed because it's like a 25, 26-year-old building that has just been renovated and renovated and renovated, small shit, for 26 years. So it's got 26 years worth of build-up for bullshit. And we're trying to... The first guy we had in there was a retard, like absolute fucking moron. Yeah. Cutting shit out that he shouldn't, not labeling shit. So we've had to go through and save a lot of that shit.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been terrible. I've been getting a shitload of scrap wire, though.
Allegedly. I will say that bag that you showed me for that scrap wire, that's a pretty big bag too.
Full F-150 bed full of either aluminum and copper, and I made about $500 yesterday afternoon just off of that.
Woo! We love that.
Yeah, like,
we love that.
In the end, the overtime, the scrap, like, I can't complain too much, but
but still fuck that.
Yeah.
But still fuck that, though. Yeah. That's funny. So, yeah, I just wonder, like, you know, how realistic the expectation of completion is. And especially, too, it's like, dude, you want to store X7s? Like, that's just not. And prime example, too, is with the new spot that I'm working, the new dealership is there. So I said they were going through some different management changes and stuff. The body shop manager showed me like just like a paper box, you know, like when you just for like printer paper, like a standard, just like a standard fucking paper box or whatever. Dude, it's just full of like scattered bullshit. And he just picks it up and sets it on his desk. He's like, "This is what I've been fucking with all week," and it's full. And I'm like, and he's like, "Yeah, we're trying to go back and fix a lot of the issues. I guess the last manager was like a fuck up or whatever, which doesn't surprise me because it's the car business and like most people that work in the car business are fuck ups. But it's Christ. Anyways, I'm hoping that I don't have to deal with too much of that, but I have a sinking feeling that there are going to be a lot of things that I got to go in there and fix. Not me personally, but like everyone. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's, you know, business like, you know, the blue collar business. Don't
become an electrician. Like, super great to know, but everyone, don't become an electrician. You don't get paid enough for the bullshit you got to do.
Yeah, yet. You don't get paid enough yet. I have a feeling that your tune will change.
I mean, when I'm pushing in a cool 100 a year, like, I'll probably be like, yeah, come do this shit.
Yeah. But the eating the shit the whole way up to that is not it.
I mean, and keep in mind, I've only been doing this for like 3.5 years. Mm-hmm. And for 24-ish, almost 24, I make decent money. So like, if I didn't have such bad spending habits, like, I wouldn't be having an issue. But like, I buy expensive shit and continue to buy expensive shit.
Because it's fucking fun.
Like I just emailed the tattoo fucking studio today, and tattoos are fucking expensive.
Hell yeah. Good tattoos are expensive. Fuck yeah. Shit, even shitty tattoos are expensive, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some shit tattoos like, yeah, my boy did this for $500, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. You got fucking swindled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Okay. Other housekeeping things. Let's talk about guns, man.
Guns.
So we have a couple things coming down the pike. So I hit up your boy. By the way, I didn't tell you this. I hit up your boy. He can't mill that for me.
Really?
Which he could, but it would get him in trouble.
Oh.
So I knew that, but I wasn't sure if it was one of those, look, one time, I don't know nothing, you don't know nothing kind of deals. So anyways, he just gave me some advice. I'm going to end up doing it. It might come out fucked up, but we're going to find out. So he showed me, he told me the jig that I need to go look at, and it's pretty straightforward. And then I just need a router, which my dad has, I'm sure.
And if yours doesn't, mine does.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, I need like a full fucking, like a full size big boy. So yeah, I got the jig and shit coming. And that lower is going to be for this new thing we're trying out. It's called a forced reset trigger. If you're the ATF, turn this podcast off.
It's entirely legal.
Oh yeah, it's 100% legal. It's all legit. It's 100% legal. You can buy them online and get them shipped.
It is still a semi-automatic rifle.
Yes, and the whole thing that's fascinating is by design. So, and this is fucking hilarious. The way that the law is written, I don't know if you know this, but the way that the law is written for a machine gun is a machine gun is roughly loosely identified as anything that when you press and hold the trigger, more than one bullet comes out.
Right.
Now, with a forced reset trigger, obviously, it's in the name. The reset of the trigger is forced. So it forces forward, and if you maintain the moderate backward pressure, as the trigger reset occurs, it pushes your finger forward, and then you can just pull it right again. So it's by definition is legal.
Whereas a normal semi-auto rifle, you have to release the trigger entirely. Can't keep pressure on it. This one, you can keep pressure on it, and it continues to operate. Still a single trigger pull for each ejection of a bullet.
Correct. And the funny thing too that I was looking into as well is that because I was really curious. I don't know too much about how the semi-automatic like triggers and the disconnectors and all that shit work. So the reset occurs in the trigger, and it's something I didn't realize because I'm a novice shooter. Is I just kind of pull the trigger, and you don't really put too much thought into it because that's just how you make the fucking gun go bang, right? At least when you're a novice shooter. And I didn't realize that if you pull and hold, and then you really, really gently let the trigger forward, you can feel the reset. Mm-hmm. So that's how you get people to have that really quick trigger. English is fucking hard. Really quick trigger finger.
We talked about you being retarded earlier?
Yeah, I am 100, dude. I swear to God, my IQ is 121. I shit you the fuck not. But I'm still dumb as shit. I can't believe it. It's ridiculous. So, goddamn, I'm having a fucking stroke. So, when you have those guys with those like the Geisley triggers, the really expensive ones that have like the minimal pull and they're very minor travel that can shoot them really fast, kind of like a full auto. All the difference here is that it just forces the reset forward and forces you to pull the trigger again. But if you maintain that constant backward pressure, it'll run like a full auto. So that's pretty cool. And then I ordered one. They sent me more than one. I'm not going to say how many. So Nick's getting one. And one of them is going to go in this fancy new lower that I'm going to mill out here. And then I'm going to try and get, because I didn't realize this was a thing, you can get a belt-fed upper for these. So we're going to take a belt-fed upper, and then we're going to put it on an unserialized, okay, forced reset lower. And then we're going to get, like, a big old fucking belt of, like, 200 and just, do Liberty
You're going to
things.
need to be able to, you're going to need to put, like, a heavy barrel on this thing because that will fucking deform with the heat of going through.
Oh, yeah, Bubba.
Like, bad.
In real practical application, I really don't see me sending more than like 50 through at one shot for the two purposes. One, obviously ammo is dumb expensive. Number two, you're 100% right. Those heat cycles are what kills barrels. This upper specifically has a barrel system that's similar to a saw. So you can take it out in like 2 or 3 minutes and swap them out. And of course the barrels are incredibly serviceable. You can get a bunch of them. So I think it's like a 16.25 inch barrel. I was actually thinking about possibly going a little bigger. I don't know if they have them. I think saws are like 18 if I'm not mistaken.
I think saws are like 18.
Yeah. So I'm torn between like keep it lighter weight because the upper itself is like I think almost 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, lightweight is going to be kind of a dream if you're talking about a
and
large belt.
I'm trying to be like as reasonable with that lightweight as like, you know, I understand like the grip and stuff like that because I'm gonna put a grip on it because those things are hefty as fuck. They're chunky, so it's like hard to handle. Yeah. So I'll just put like a foregrip on it, and I'm gonna build the lower out just like I would. I'm probably just get like a Anderson parts kit or whatever. You know, they're like $70. Drop the trigger in, get a buffer for it, send that motherfucker home. AR lowers are very, very easy. Like they're not complicated at all. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that because I've never like bothered to take one apart. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm chipping away at that. That upper is like fucking $6,000. So it's gonna be a little while, but I can at least put the lower together once I mill it out and shit. And I'll start saving for that belt upper, and then we'll have to figure something out for you and I to go do Liberty things. Mm-hmm. And it will take some test and tune as well, because that is actually that upper is not an impingement upper. That's a gas piston upper. Mm-hmm. So, which is gas piston is fucking superior. I don't care what anyone says.
AK-47s.
Yep, exactly. They run like a motherfucker. But also I'd be interested to see because with that trigger and with that upper, trying to time it and get the gas and the buffer tube and all that shit correct is going to be an interesting interesting thing.
Getting my buddy to mill it, he could get in trouble, but getting them to service the rifle, that is a different story. You bring it to the shop and then they can service it and tune things as it needs to be.
And that's what I thought is like the minor issues, like if it's over or under gassing, a lot of that stuff I can figure out and can be adjusted like relatively simply. But if it's just like not running or it's just running like total dog shit, I'm just gonna give it to him. And I have seen this specific setup run with the trigger with the upper in like a standard AR lower and run very effectively. So it's certainly possible. It's been done before is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So yeah, it's so interesting how like the government creates all these laws and we still just find a fucking way anyways. We're like, yeah, no, we're just not doing that. So anyways, I'm glad that I have a few and acquired them for the low price of fucking $3.99.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fucking sweet. I might put one in the combat carbine, the SBR, but we'll see. I also kind of want to see how they run like just as a standard semi-auto, because if it's like a pain in the nuts to run it just regular semi,
I can't imagine it would be. You know? It should be as easy as it is to shoot it.
Yeah,
normally.
And I would assume so too, but I just am curious, like for range purposes, because you know, obviously we have to be cognizant of your range and other like. I fucking despise every local range around here. Like they're horrible. They're like, yeah, you can only shoot once every 5 seconds.
Right. Well, you can suck me off. Fuck that.
Like, dude, it's so fucking dumb. Like, have you looked at any local ranges recently?
Oh God, no. I don't know the last time I looked at local ranges.
Holy nuts, dude. It's so bad. I was looking all over. There's one in Westminster. I was all outdoor, by the way. Because indoor, dude, you think they're going to let me send full auto indoor? You're out of your fucking mind. So I was like looking at outdoor and like, you know, seeing like what's what. Dude, Marriottsville, bullshit. Westminster, bullshit. There's a gun club in Bowie, bullshit. Like, they're all fucking trash. Some of them are like, you have to walk up to the line with your gun in your case. The barrel has to be oriented downrange. So you have to walk, pointing your case at the fucking ground, walk up, set it behind the line, open it, present it to the range safety officer. They do their thing. They put it on the thing for you. You close your case, and then you can load the ammo and start shooting. Like... Yeah. Safety, yes, I understand safety is important, but like, There's a fine line between fucking ridiculous and being safe.
I think the only time I've ever been to, like, a range is when I went with a buddy to shoot trap.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I shoot at my own places, because in New Hampshire and here, I can shoot at family-owned spots.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, is I'd be down to actually shoot trap. I would need to buy a shotgun for that.
Yeah. I mean, I have several shotguns, so.
Yeah. I kind of want to get a Benelli.
I shot it with my little fucking short barrel joint. I had a stock on it at the time. And
yeah.
I walk up and the fucking old dude sitting there is like, I love seeing guys come with these combat-looking shotguns. You see me blowing that shit out of the air like it's nothing.
Yeah, Nick's just like Nick's throwing clay pigeons and like one-arming it. Bow!
Like, and then the way they have like a legit trap, they come out of bunkers and shit, so they go their separate directions. And I was still just nail every single one I took aim at. Mm-hmm. And I went to leave. They're like, wow, I'm surprised how good you were with that. I was like, it's because it's not hard. It doesn't matter what gun I have. You give me your gun, I'm still going to make you look like a bitch.
Well, and that's the thing, dude, is because I didn't know this about trap shooting, but apparently they have like 28-inch long barrels and all kinds of fucking crazy shit. Which, like, if that's your thing, I get it. It's just like me making a Gucci AR. You know what I mean? Like, I 100% get it, but like, it's kind of retarded.
Yeah.
it's kind of fucking stiff. It's just this fucking long dick fucking yeet. It's like, it would be like Nick just swinging his cock around at the fucking trap house. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell are you gonna do with that long ass bitch?
I could still knock the clay pigeons out of the air.
He just throws his dick and retrieves it, reels it in.
Keep that bitch on a hose reel.
It always turns into a Nick has a giant cock joke somehow.
It does.
But dude, I'd be down to shoot. I was looking at I've been wanting to get a Benelli M4 for a long time.
Oh, me too, though.
But they're not I mean, they're expensive. Let me backtrack, because I almost said they're not that expensive. They're pretty fucking expensive. But it's a Benelli. It's gonna run like a motherfucker. And I think they were around 1,800 when I was looking at them, if I'm not mistaken, for the M4.
I think between like 18 and 24.
Yeah, and I know they have the M2, and they have a bunch of different models and shit. And obviously they have like your standard pumps and all the other shit. I was looking at the everyone has the pistol grip style M4s, and those are cool. I don't hate on those, but I'd like to get one that just has the standard stock, and you know what I mean. And they have one that's it's black furniture with silver Cerakoted, barrel and all that other stuff. It looks fucking real nice, Clark. So I was looking at one of those. There is a Benelli dealer in like Timonium, I think.
That sounds right.
And I think Bass Pro. But I think you'd probably have to order it from Bass Pro, because Bass Pro is like FUD activities.
Yeah. I got my 380 from Bass Pro.
Oh, did you really?
Mm-hmm.
The little BB 911. Yeah. You carry big now because you have a fucking huge cock, so you carry big now.
Yep.
You've upgraded, moved on. So, by the way, my holster came in. The big boy carries very nicely. I was very pleasantly surprised. It's tough because of how big the grip is for me to carry it on my side. So I have to appendix or smaller back carry it. And appendix is bad because I'm fat.
Same though.
So that kind of limits me. But in the summer, I was smaller back the other day just to try it out, and it carries very nicely. So I was very pleasantly surprised, I must say. Mm-hmm. For what it is, and I actually haven't shot that thing yet. I probably should shoot the motherfucker and make sure it runs before I start carrying it.
I would say I know you haven't shot it yet because we haven't gone shooting in a little while.
Yeah, and I don't. Again, FUD ranges are bullshit. I just called Nick. Nick, let's go shoot this weekend. He's like, all right, let's go. But yeah, I also am. I'm just gonna admit it. I fucking cannot stand cicadas. I'm terrified of them, and I'm not going down in your property to go and be bombarded.
At my dad's house, they're really not too bad. At where I live, you've been to my house, I haven't seen a single one.
Oh my god, dude! If I could show you my fucking
It's just as
porch.
Soon as I drive towards 97 and anywhere around there, they're terrible.
Yeah, dude, everywhere around here, fucked up. Completely fucked up.
The further north you go, there's really, like, I got buddies who live in Upperco and stuff. Not that bad. Westminster is not terrible. Obviously, riding motorcycles. I wish cicadas would stay in the ground. I do not like. I had just cleaned my bike a couple weeks ago. The first time out, all kinds of cicada guts all over it. I'm gonna have to pull the bitch apart to clean it. I'm so unhappy.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Dude, and the thing is too I think, did I tell you about the cicada that exploded on my B pillar and got all over the STI?
Yeah, you did.
Dude, it looked like somebody busted a fucking nut on the inside of my STI. I was fucking furious. The head landed in my lap. I was fucking livid.
Oh, I had one on the bike yesterday. It like blew up on my arm. I was like trying not to crash while I'm wiping my arm off.
Well, dude, it was fucked up too because I was driving the other day and I had long pants on because I was going. That was actually when I went to my first interview for the place that I am probably gonna start working at. I had long pants on for the interview. One of the motherfuckers, I had my window cracked about that much. Flies in. I'm like, okay, whatever, no problem. And normally I'm like, I'm not big on them crawling around. They just make a lot of noise, and I just don't. It's something about them just makes my fucking skin crawl. But dude, this motherfucker starts crawling up my leg. Oh, I thought I was gonna wreck my shit. I thought I was going. I'm like in the passenger seat, like just fucking. It wasn't it. It wasn't it.
So at work, like 2 weeks ago, this is before this guy got moved to a different job, he doesn't like bugs. And like, I'm bad, but I'm not that bad.
Yeah.
Fucking one of the other guys picks one up by the wings, and like it's chasing him around. He is running around like a bitch. Like it is like bad. And he like realized what he was doing and stopped and was ready to fight this guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't think I'm gonna run away from you, but I'm definitely gonna smack it out of your fucking hand.
And like, it's become, and I don't like that this is the case because I don't like bugs either. But it's become a game to throw them at each other when you're not paying attention.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And like, I've gotten good at keeping myself from jumping out because of them. Like, I'll just brush them off or whatever. But if I'm out and alone and one gets on me, I'm gonna like.
Yeah, fuck those things. I just Googled it real quick. They're supposed to be gone by like 4th of July.
It's like mid-June, mid to late June, they should be gone.
Yeah, which is right now, basically. I mean, it's the 15th, so we're pretty much there.
We're coming, and you can tell it's definitely getting quieter outside.
Thank God. Let the Holocaust fucking begin, dude. I am pro cicada genocide. That is one of my very, very stringent political positions that I will not move on.
Like, everyone knows I'm an animal guy. I'm on all kinds of like pro-animal ecosystem, blah 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 pages on Facebook. People are like, "Oh, the cicadas. I feel bad. They're not around here. The dead. I'm like, burn them all. Like, take them from Maryland. I don't want it at all.
Let the Holocaust begin. I'll see them. They'll be alive walking on the concrete. I just step on them. Don't even think about it.
A guy
like spiders and other shit. I try and leave alone. I'm not big on them, but I usually leave them alone. But I will literally go out of my way to kill them. Fuck cicadas.
A guy tossed one at me last week and like fell and landed on this brick, and I had a little fucking like 4-pound sledgehammer. I looked at him, splat.
Yeah. This can be your fingers if you keep fucking around. Yeah, I hate them. And dude, they're all in my fucking intercooler. Oh my god.
Oh, I know. Bro. I'm literally gonna have to pull the radiator off my bike.
Dude, I'm very upset about that. Dude, I just spent like fucking $800 on an intercooler, and the fucking thing it's packed full of cicadas. I'm gonna get like when they're gone, I'm gonna get with like a toothbrush and like actually get them out of there. Because the thing is too is like they're so fucking big that actually it bends the fins of the intercooler.
Yeah, when they hit shit, it hurts. Like I'm going 80 miles an hour down the highway, and it feels like I just got hit by a rock.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, one of my other friends that rides, he's a full gear kind of guy, like leathers and the whole nine. And he's like, yeah, it's like getting hit by a fucking paintball.
Yeah, and
I'm like, fuck that, bro.
I'm a squid. I just wear a helmet most of the time.
Yeah, same.
So like, ow.
Yeah, dude, fuck that. Fuck that. Couldn't be me. Even if I had a bike, I probably wouldn't be riding. I can't stand them that much. I fucking saw a guy the other day that was riding, and I guess we talked about this, but the power tools and the vibrations attract him. This guy had about 5 of them just sitting on his back at a stoplight, and I was like, he either doesn't give a shit or doesn't need to know. I was gonna say something, but I was like, he's good. He'll be all right. He'll get moving, and they'll fuck off, or he'll be fine.
Yeah, like if you're weed whacking, they like that noise a lot because it sounds like them, that kind of shit. Like,
yep. Yeah, and I guess the vibration is one thing too, because like concrete saws and shit'll do it. Like I've seen TikToks of construction workers. This one guy had like 30 of them on him. I was like, I would quit. I would quit.
I would
get in my car and go home.
I'd probably go home that day. Like,
yeah, I'd be in shambles. I can't. Stand them. When I was, dude, I literally was like, when I was, God, they came out in 04, was it? Was it the last time?
I don't know. I wasn't here. This is the first time I've ever seen cicadas.
Oh, that's right, because they're not up
north.
that way. I think it was like 04, 05, whatever, 17, 16, 17, whatever the fuck it is. I was playing baseball, and I was playing in the outfield, and I was a little kid, and my mom was making fun of me because I was running around, running away from cicadas. But yeah, fuck them things.
I don't like cicadas, I don't like stink bugs. They're completely harmless, but I don't fuck with it.
Yeah, and listen, I personally am not a big fan of stink bugs, but for me, I can tolerate a stink bug. I'll just catch them with a piece of paper and let them out, because obviously if you splat them, fucking stink bugs.
I catch them in duct tape and seal the duct tape and throw them away.
Very smart. Very smart. And my luck, I'll do that and rip a hole in my fucking wallpaper in this fucking busted-ass apartment. Oh, shit. So, okay, cool. So we got the AR builds out the way. I have yet, speaking of STI, I have yet to catch someone slipping and give them the gap. No one wants any smoke, and I hate those kinds of guys that are, like, always trying to race you. I'm sure you've experienced it at some point, especially on the Ninja. Everyone wants to race. Like, dude, I will wax your shit. Just don't even fuck with me.
But when I was on the Harley, people wanted smoke. I'm like, yo, this is a small-ass Harley.
Yeah. Dude, and it's like, so anyways, I hate that kind of mindset, so I just, if I'm driving on the highway and I see someone that might want to fuck with me, I might pull up next to them, and I'm not going to, like, stare at them or, like, anything weird, but I'll pull up next to them, and if they want, if they want to go, then we can, they can tap their horn or whatever, right? I'll give them the opportunity to make that move. No one wants nothing. Yeah. No one wants nothing. And my ego is, like, so big right now, because that car is...
I mean, Sunday I was getting groceries, and I'm on the bike. I've got a backpack full of shit. I've got like a gallon of milk. Sagging. I got like a gallon of milk, 5 Gatorades, like a 40-liter backpack stuffed full of groceries. And this Challenger keeps trying to fucking like fly past me and shit as the lights go, and I'm obviously like I'm playing along. Of course I'm gonna play along. And every time I just and then finally he went to go fucking fly past me, and there's 2 cars ahead of us, so I just got between the cars and dipped.
Dude, and fuck Challengers are the new like like Mopar in general are like the new racers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone and their fucking mother has one. Everyone thinks they're so fucking fast. And there are situations, right? There are Honda Civics out there that are fast as fuck. If anyone knows that, it's me. But like the amount of the community that actually can back that shit up versus is bullshit there's a discrepancy there. And I can't wait, dude. I'll bully the fuck out of a Challenger. I'll bully the fuck out of a Mustang. I'll bully the fuck out of a Camaro.
Like, I've thought about going to Cars and Coffee there in Potomac just to see if I can get Challengers to fucking, or Chargers too, to fucking play.
Like, oh, man.
Because they're the worst. They're 100% Mopar is the worst.
Dude.
And don't get me wrong, I love the cars. I've loved Chargers since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But, come on, guys. Your car weighs like 5,000-6,000 pounds.
Dude, and they're just not like... Dodge builds decent engines, but like, if it's not a 6.4, it's not even thinking about being fast. And even if it's a 6.4, you're talking, I think like 485 and 420 are what they make. I don't even know.
I think 485 is like their top. And like you said, don't get me wrong, there are fast ones out there.
Yeah.
But like, your stock Challenger isn't fast.
Okay, so if you get the SRT, which is the 6.4 naturally aspirated, brand new, the most current generations are making 485 and 475. Now that's pretty good performance out of a 6.4. I mean, considering that the LS7 in 2006, I believe it was debuted, which is the 7-liter Z06 Corvette engine, was making, I think, 505 and probably 500, something like that. They're pretty good numbers, right? But it's just when you put that in a car that weighs over 4,000 pounds, and that's not including the driver with an empty tank. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you're gonna be close to 5,000 pounds with everything included, and that's assuming you have nothing in the trunk. And bro, they're just not that fast. They're not that fast, and they're quick off the line. I will concede that. The first 3 gears, you're good. Anything after that hits a wall. I don't get it. Fucking shitters. But yeah, I would love the bully. I would love the bull on the highway too. Like, you want to get disrespected, bro? I will gap you in an all-wheel drive car on the fucking highway. Come on. But dude, speaking of all-wheel drive, I drove to Rockville to get some paperwork done. This motherfucker spinning all four is so sketchy, dude. Holy shit. I come out. It was raining, and I just didn't put 2 and 2 together because I'm a fucking retard like that. And I come out, I go through first, and I give it some sauce in second, and it hooks, and I'm like, all right, bet. So I really just lean into it. And dude, it literally just started drilling the tack. The ass end went this way, the front end went that way, and my eyes just
his eyes followed.
You know what I mean? They did the same fucking. It was so bad, dude. It was so bad, and it sounded fucking ferocious, I must say. But yeah, I just put that bitch right in fourth, and then fifth and sixth, and I was just the rest of the way home. Fuck that.
And yeah, my new tires should be here tomorrow.
Oh shit! Get them bitches installed. Get a little fucking.
Oh, I'm gonna put them around my waist and ride to the fucking.
I've seen that. Yeah. I saw a guy who did that, wrecked, and like did not get fucked up too. So it's basically an airbag.
It is.
It's basically a fucking airbag at this point.
I mean, like, I've only got like 20 minutes to drive, so not too bad.
Yeah, you'll be all right. All right. So we actually burned up a lot more time, which is good because I have topics for other episodes, which is good. I just want to touch on one thing because we've been going about it probably a little less than an hour, huh?
47-ish.
47. Okay, so we have more time than I thought we did, which is good. Let's talk about this is a quick one. Have you seen the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's Twitter?
Oh my God, yes.
I saw a tweet that said, hold on, I gotta pull this up, dude. I don't have it saved, but I fucking should have. But dude, they tweeted something like John McCain's death saved more. Oh, here we go. John McCain's brain tumor saved more lives than Anthony Fauci. That is fucking sick. I'm a sick guy. That's fucked up. I don't think I would ever tweet that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And weren't they the ones who posted, like, what was it? Something about repealing the Civil Rights Act? And then
oh my God,
something about like.
Okay. I gotta cut you off real quick. That was my boss texting me. He confirmed that it's gross sales. I'm about to start making 6 figures, and you can suck my balls. Continue.
Bands. But yeah, they posted something about like repealing the Civil Rights Act, and then they posted something about like legalizing child labor again. I'm like, yo, these guys are on one.
What the fuck?
And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily disagree with their stances per se. I just think that there's a time to push for those things.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah, like, we're not at the point where we can have the conversation about having kids working again.
No.
We're nowhere near that conversation.
No, dude. And the funny thing is, too, is repeal minimum wage, end all gun control, end the war on drugs, abolish police units, end civil assets forfeiture, abolish the death penalty. These are all things that I personally can get behind. But, like, dude, some of the shit that they tweet is just like, you're memeing. Like, you can't actually think that you are successfully growing the libertarian movement. And I'm not even a fucking libertarian. I'm just like a Republican that minds his business. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't fucking get it, man. They're like, I gotta follow them because they're just fucking ridiculous. But like, dude, oh my God, they're like quote tweeting fucking Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, I know.
It's so bad. Oh my God, talking shit about John McCain. And listen, I'm not exactly a hawk. You know what I mean? I think my foreign policy is incredibly based, and there is actually maybe this is something you and I will agree on. What do you think about foreign policy? Let me ask you before I suggest anything. What is your foreign policy prescriptions for the U.S.?
So for the most part, it's just leave each other alone. Like, I really don't give a fuck what's going on in other countries. It's not our problem. It's just it just isn't. Like, if they're direct allies, maybe we can have a conversation about shit. But in the sense that we have enough issues in our country that we should probably focus on, we don't really need to be sending money and troops and shit elsewhere.
Yeah, okay, so I agree. To me, it goes a little bit deeper than sort of the obvious things, I guess. Because most people, when they think foreign policy, they think of, like, wars. Which, of course, I am generally against war. I think war is a last effort kind of thing, and I think that the United States is uniquely equipped to eradicate most countries in less than a month. And if we need to, if it has come to the point of where we have to send our up and coming generation of 18-year-olds overseas, we should eradicate that country very quickly, and we should remove ourselves from that country. And this is the reason that I say that, right, is we're not in the business of nation building. And so, if at least as far as I'm concerned, and so if it comes, the point I say this is it should be abrupt in and out. And the reason that I say that is because war should be such a last. It should be so far down the list of things, past diplomacy and allyship and all these other tools that we have in our toolbox. We shouldn't be bombing anyone. We shouldn't be if we bomb you, we should be willing to eradicate you. We should be willing to overtop, destroy, burn your buildings, destroy your crops, and shoot men of fighting age in the streets, armed or otherwise. War's fucked up, and it should be a last ditch effort kind of thing. And so that's sort of the war aspect of things. And I think a lot of people agree on that. They just don't really realize that they agree on it. Because war is necessary, let's be honest. If Russia decides that they want to nut up and start sending fucking bombs our way, what are we going to do? Be like, whoa, Putin, please don't. Don't fucking Gaza strip us. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like someone posted something, I think, that was like, China's Navy has grown X amount in the last couple of years, and if you're not careful, we'll all be speaking Chinese. I'm like, okay, yes, China is substantially growing their military force, but the United States' Navy, specifically because they were talking about Chinese Navy, is so far beyond any other country in the world, there's no catching up. China has
quadrupled their forces, we would still be like 2 or 3 times as big.
China has 2 active aircraft carriers, which are significantly less technologically advanced than the United States ones. They can launch 1 aircraft at a time, and it takes them a little bit because they use like a curved runway, and it takes some time. The United States has the flat-top aircraft carrier that uses either a
slingshot,
basically a steam or an electromagnet-style slingshot, and we can launch like 2 aircrafts for every one that they do, and we have 11 and are building more.
Yeah, actively.
Because
the one thing about the United States war machine is that even when we're not at war, and I use that term loosely because we're at war with a lot of countries, or actually we're in conflict with a lot of countries, or are involved in some aspect in conflict of a lot of countries, is that we're constantly upgrading and improving our fleet. So just because we're not building new destroyers doesn't mean that our destroyers are not top of the fucking line.
I read something, and this was probably more than a couple years ago now, about the United States putting rail guns on battleships, or destroyers, because we don't have battleships anymore. And if anyone doesn't know, a railgun is something that shoots a high-density piece of metal with electromagnets at speeds excess of 2,500 miles per second.
Could you imagine? You literally wouldn't see anything. It would just blow a hole through the side of your ship, and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. And
we're taking on water.
Yeah. And the entire rest of the world put together has 11 aircraft carriers.
Yeah, and it's so that actually is actually. I'm glad that we touched on this, is because that I think that segues into our next point, is that, and this is where I think you and I may disagree. I understand the importance of United States political influence across the world, and I think everyone does. So one thing to consider, and I'm not, again, I'm being very careful to divorce war and foreign aid from political influence. So foreign aid can take many shapes. We like to just write checks, which I kind of am not particularly fond of. I am fond of, potential infrastructure improvements. I am fond of, like COVID vaccines. I'm cool with that, man. Go vaccinate them. It's a relatively cheap way where we could be like, yeah, you remember that one time we saved you from a fucking global pandemic? You're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with those sorts of things, right? Within reason. And the reason that I say that is that if we take a totally isolationist policy, China is aggressively expanding, right? So China owns Pakistan and India because they're like, well, listen, we're going to come out here and build some roads and you let us do whatever the fuck we want. And India's like, okay, we're still shitting in the streets. Yeah, more bathrooms for us to shit in. So they go over to India and they build a bunch of really shitty roads, right? But what it represents is the tightening of the noose of China. Countries like Russia, do we want to talk about Russian war crimes in the fucking Eastern Bloc countries? Actively still? What about Bosnia? Holy shit! You know what I mean?
The Ukraine.
The Ukraine, right? What was it? Crimea? Like, so you have those kinds of superpowers, and then, dude, China's involved. Owns, I believe. I am confident that I read this, but it might be incorrect. China owns a concerning portion of European ports. I don't know what the percentage is, but China owning any European ports is alarming for obvious fucking reasons.
If anyone doesn't know, almost anything that gets shipped between continents goes through Europe in some way or another.
And China's hand is in a lot of shit. And so I'm not saying that we have to make these sorts of foreign investments, but I would suggest that we still have to maintain. China has a foothold in your 3 largest ports, of which it owns 35%. 1/3 of European ports is owned by China. So, say what you want about Trump, I think he, to some degree at least, acknowledged the fact that China is, while they may not be an active threat to us right now, and certainly they are because they have nuclear weapons, China is installing itself and embedding itself in these countries, whether they're allies or not. If the shit hits the fan, do you really think Pakistan is going to come to China's defense? Fuck no. Fuck no. Fuck no. But China can still levy a whole lot of fucking power over Pakistan based on the deals that China has done with Pakistan. Because if China decides to flip a switch and turn Pakistan's electricity off, what then?
Right. And I did see something yesterday, 2 days ago, about China's nuclear reactor having some issues and being a potential, very large issue. So
Chernobyl Part 2, they were comparing it to.
We will see about the development of that for sure.
Yeah, and it just speaks to, again, it's, mixed economy, communist economy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, let's look at the fucking... China is not building shit the way that the U.S. is building shit. And we build shit pretty half-assed. I mean, you're in the construction business. There are a lot of things that fly that probably shouldn't fly. I'm in the car business. There's a whole lot of shit that flies that probably shouldn't fly. So what am I trying to say here? I guess what I'm trying to say here is, there is an unsettling reality is that there are bad faith actors that want to eradicate the United States of America from not only the world stage, but for any semblance of a superpower. And so we have to acknowledge and assess these realities in a realistic and minimum necessary force, because that's the kind of guy I am, Nick. Minimum necessary force in most aspects of government. But we cannot simply isolate from every other country and just hands off, and there has to be some, having military bases in these countries, whether we're at war with them or not, it allows us to mobilize. You know, if we have military bases in Israel and Iran decides that they want to fuck around and find out and launches a legitimate attack on, you know, the mainland of the U.S., which would not be successful, you and I both know, we would stomp them like a cicada. But the ability to mobilize from these kinds of, you know, close locations is you can't put a price tag on it.
So I do agree to a point. I definitely agree that the United States can't be completely isolationist. Like, we need to have trade deals and shit with other countries, like, just for survival. There's things that the U.S. can't adequately produce anymore. And then I sort of agree with the military base thing. Yes, I think it is necessary to have them in other parts of the world. I just don't think that we need to have 200 and some odd bases.
I will say, to the degree at which we currently have them, may be overkill a touch.
Yeah.
I will concede that point.
Like it's literally over 200 spread throughout the rest of the world. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And, you know, I haven't really flushed this out too much. Like, I haven't put a ton of thought into this, but it seems that there are certain obvious things that cannot be ignored. And I think that the hawkish foreign policy people, tend to ignore the effects of these types of forever wars on our economy, on our youth. I mean, dude, you want to talk about a fucking mental health crisis? Go to a fucking VA hospital. Holy shit. You know what I mean? And so there are things that are ignored on both sides, the sort of total isolationist and the total hawkish foreign policy. That it's there are pros and cons of each, but I hate to be that guy, but almost every issue somewhere in the middle is reasonable and minimum necessary force. And so I have been largely isolationist on a lot of policies recently, but I do understand the need for foreign aid, and I don't want to say intervention, because that's, you know, tends to have a negative connotation to it. You think intervention, you think war, you think body stacking, but, you know, intervention in the sense of again, you know, providing COVID vaccines and whatever the case may be. You know, these types of acts of service and acts of faith, if we can provide for, you know, whatever. If the shit hit the fan with China, you know, I think Africa would be a good place to jump off from. I mean, obviously you would think California, but if you want to go from both sides or whatever, right? There are different countries we could very cheaply expand our influence for a low cost. South America. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and South America is actually, like, kind of awesome. There's, like, Brazil is actually developing quite nicely. They still have a lot of problems. Let's be very clear. But the way that they've industrialized in the past decade is astounding, actually. Brazil is quite nice. I'd like to go to Brazil. We should go to fucking Brazil.
All right, as soon as you have fat stacks, you can pay for me to come to Brazil with you.
I don't even know what it costs, but yeah, let's go. I'll drop like 10 grand on a vacation. We'll go to fucking Rio de Janeiro and hang out with big booty Brazilian bitches.
W.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of my, like, the key sort of foundational points, the axioms of my sort of foreign policy ideas here. But yeah, I wanted to crush that one real quick, and let me get this. Oh, boy. Yeah, Libertarian Party New Hampshire base Twitter is literally my note. I want to ask you one final question, because this will be a quick one. So I was at the gym, and it's widely regarded that if you're in the squat rack, you should probably be squatting, right? So one of the big, like, it's like an internet meme, but it's also a thing that people do, which is fucking retarded, is they will go to the squat rack and curl in the squat rack. It's like a big taboo. So I personally don't give a shit that much. I will laugh at you if you do it, because, like, if you're the kind of person who does that, you have no idea how much of an asshole and a retard you look like. So it's humorous. But I saw someone not even curling in the squat rack. They were doing fucking lateral raises in the squat rack. Lateral raises. So it absolutely retarded, right? Wow. So it got me thinking, and maybe you can speak on this a little bit. What other kinds of taboos exist in, like, hobbies and work that you can think of. And here's another one I can say too, and maybe you'll have a similar experience, but if you're group riding, excuse me, if you're riding motorcycles in a group, generally speaking, there's some kind of communication on where you're going, the route you're taking, what kind of riding is to be expected between point A and point B, what happens if there are individuals that have cars that have pretty lights on them, things like that. So there's sort of that expectation. So a taboo might be, oh yeah, this is a chill ride. We're keeping it like, under 75. Chill ride. We're just going to B-dubs with the boys. And then someone's ripping a fat-ass stand-up wheelie on the highway. It's like, okay, well, you kind of blew our whole fucking shit up, right? Like, it's like a fucking bad look. So I was thinking about that, and those were the two big ones that, like, came up because that's, like, a thing. I wasn't sure, like, are there any electrician taboos, like some shit you just don't do?
So obviously in construction, we fuck with each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a guy's up on a lift, or a ladder, we'll hit the ladder with our pliers or something when they're fucking doing something that's obviously not dangerous, and then scare them. You don't touch or fuck with someone when they're working in a panel, because I mean, you shouldn't do live work. It's like really frowned upon now and everything, but sometimes there's no way around it. The job we're on now, there is active parts of this building. We can't turn things off. So we've got 6 live panels here, and if someone's got the cover off one doing shit, leave them the fuck alone. I've had someone come up to me before, like I was on like a 6-foot ladder doing something in a panel, and they fucking like slapped my ass or something. I just about killed them. Like, yeah. That is the closest I have been to like a legitimate fight at work. Like, I was ready to grab my fucking drywall saw out of my bag and stab them to death there in the fucking job sites.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like one of those things you just don't do it.
Like, it's a safety thing. Like, we're working with electricity. It doesn't matter if it's 120, 270, 208, or 470, like whatever is dangerous. And if I get shocked because of someone else's stupid shit, I'm gonna lose it. Like, just full stop.
Yeah. Oh, I got a good one for the body shop industry. If you're gonna talk shit about a color match to the painter, you need to see what it looks like outside and tell the fucking painter before the car's put back together.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many fucking cars that have gone to wash, and the guy's out there washing it, and I'm out there like having a cigarette, or I'm out in the shop, and I'm like, oh, let me look at this real quick, make sure the quality control's good, and then I don't have to worry about it later. And the fucking bumper is like 3 shades off, and I'm like, and the body guy's just like, huh, bumper's done, and starts throwing parts in it.
It's like that scene from Ted. Oh, I'm a little fucked up. Will you take care of me forever and ever?
Bro, and literally, the last painter I worked with, this great, awesome guy, Danny, old head. This guy, I have seen this man do some shit that I never thought was physically possible. I have seen him burn a blend. Okay, we painted a car. The fucking car wash guy scratched it to the metal on a brand new panel, soft paint, right? This motherfucker touched it up, burned a blend in the clear coat. I swear to God, Nick, you couldn't tell a fucking difference. Literally no hard line, no color, nothing. Not even a disturbance in the fucking metal flake. I swear to God, I was like, you're fucking bullshitting me. I don't know what car this is, but I want you to go get the real car that he fucked up so I can look at it. I couldn't fucking believe my eyes. This fucking guy. I went out to him one time and I said, hey, Dan. He said, hey, buddy. He said, I saw you looking at the, like, Civic or whatever the fuck it was. It's like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, I didn't think I could get away with it either, but I wanted to try. Pull it back in. It's like, holy shit. This car was put back together. Yeah, he ended up having to repaint the bumper and fender. He's like, I figured I'd try. And I was like, I mean, you gotta swag it sometimes. I get it. And so, listen, I am ashamed to admit there have been some cars that I have shipped that I probably should not have shipped. And I'm not talking about safety issues. I'm just talking about, like, color match or, like, one time, dude, we got a fucking fly in the clear coat. It was so bad, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I've let some shit slide on like code things, supporting that kind of stuff at work before. Like technically, for MC cable, you're supposed to support within a foot from the box, and then within 6 feet every 6 feet after that. There's definitely been times where I've been like, all right, one on this end, one on this end, pull it taut. Yep, we're good. Send it.
Yep, you gotta swag it a little. I say, listen. I say, my favorite thing is I'll be looking at a car with a body man, or I'll be looking at a car with a painter. This was a big thing at the last shop I worked at. And we'd be sitting there looking at it, and I didn't even realize that I have a bad habit of doing it. I would literally, even before I had a beard, I would do this. And just fucking I'm sitting there thinking about just holding my arm like this, just like, and I'll literally be standing there in silence. We'll look at it for 5 minutes, and he'll be like, "Can you sell it?" "Yeah, I can sell it." And dude, we've strategically parked cars. We've had 5 cars delivered, and one of them is parked the other way, so the sunlight hits it at a certain angle. Dude, we have done some shit. We've done one time. The car was done. I put it in the back lot, and we were closing. I put it in the back lot, and what I did was I couldn't sell it one way or the other, so I sold it. I parked it right up in front of the shop, so it was facing this way instead of this way or this way. So it was perfect. I was like, yeah, so the repair did. I've put my leg up next to something, be like, yeah, so over here, and you always use your fingers to distract. You point, and they look where you're pointing. Dude, I fucking sold some. I literally sold a car one time. The guy came back 2 weeks later, and he's just like, "Hey man, this color match seems a little bit off." I was like, "Have you washed it?" He's like, "No, I haven't washed it." So I was like, "Yeah, give it a wash. It should be. It's probably dirty."
Yeah, I lead
some shit I shouldn't have.
I lead inspectors around a lot. And when I know something's fucked up there, I'll notice. I'll be like, "Oh yeah, we did this over here too." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, dude, and it's just half the time, if you just don't stop talking and you point out everything but the one thing that's fucked up, you can take a step back. People have that natural, they want to look at you and make eye contact with you. So I'll be blocking off a corner, bop, 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 bop. And then I'll take a step back, and they're looking this way and the car's that way. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, so if there's anything else you need, don't hesitate to give me a call. Here's your keys. Thank you so much. You've been awesome throughout the course of the repair. Make sure you don't wash it. Don't wash it for a day or two, and then definitely don't use any wax for a month or two. You gotta let the paint cure. And they're like, "Oh yeah, of course. Thank you guys, have been awesome." They get all their shit. They bring me the rental keys. As soon as they hit their tires hit the fucking street, I'm like, "Fuck you, mom." Not my problem anymore.
But I do have something to say about some of that bike shit you were talking about. Group rides, because I've started leading them now. Don't pass the ride leader. You'll miss where the fuck you're going. And if you start turning around in the middle of the highway like a retard trying to get to an exit, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna make sure you don't get to us. I'm gonna take unnecessary turns just to lose your ass. Always, if you're in front, and then I like it to be the front 2 or 3 people, hand signals. If you don't, that's a pain in the ass for the people behind. Especially my bike. I didn't have turn signals for a while. When I was doing it, I was making sure I was saying what was going on. If you go through a stoplight and not everyone makes it through a stoplight or a circle, stop for the rest of your group. There's all kinds of shit with group rides that people just fuck off with. And most of the time, if I'm leading, if we lose someone, I'll stop and catch up. If someone's going to leave, I would like them to communicate with me at some manner. I've had guys right up next to me and been I was like, yeah, go ahead. They take off. If there's cops, I'm leaving. I tell people that up front. If there is cops that get involved, I am no longer there, and it is up to each person on their own. If something happens to your bike, I'm not that's your fault. I'm not paying for your shit, bro.
It just reminded me of something really funny. Oh, when I was a little badass, when I had my GSXR, we were riding with this kid Alex. He had just bought his first bike. It was some clapped out ass R6, and it was me and my buddy Otto, a couple of guys I used to ride with. There were 6 or 7 of us or whatever. And this was this kid had just gotten his license. His bike was all legit, but he wanted to rock with the cool kids, you know what I mean, or whatever. So long story short, we're getting ready to leave out wherever we're going. And all of us are like sitting there, we're putting our gear on, putting our helmets on. He's like, wait, what do we do if there's cops? And I couldn't help myself. I turned to him, I was like, I hope that thing's fast, bro. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, dude, every man for himself. You can stop if you want to. That's great. I'm leaving.
As soon as there's red and blue lights, it is legitimately a free-for-all.
It's a and I don't know none of you motherfuckers.
No, like
who are those guys? I don't know. I was just riding and they came up next to me and I thought,
yeah,
cool.
like if I get pulled over and I actually stop, don't worry, you're good. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, that was dickhead from this. I'm gonna be like, I don't know. I saw him at the fucking stoplight, so we just grouped up and went.
Mm-hmm.
Now I ride with a lot of baggers. My bike being at least kind of fast, pretty nimble. I ride with baggers and sport bikes. The baggers are going to stop. There's no way around it. They can't cut between cars like the rest of them. They can't speed off like the rest of them.
You ain't getting one of those things over $120, no way.
No. And, like, that's cool. Like, stop. You probably should. The rest of us are dickheads. Like, go ahead and stop. But if you rat us out, like, I'll make sure no one ever wants to ride with you again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just number one.
Yeah. Like, I'm leading a ride this Sunday, a pretty significant one, like over 2 hours one way. And I looked on the people showing up, and I noticed one was from a volunteer fire department in the Baltimore area that my aunt's husband happens to be a part of. So I messaged her. I was like, oh, hey, does Mike know this guy? She's like, yeah, they rode up to Gettysburg like a year ago or something. I was like, oh, cool. What's he like?
Yeah. Yep.
She's like,
because you gotta know, man. You can't have any fucking unknown variables when you're riding like that. Like, it's just you can't. There's already enough bullshit on the road as it is,
Because like he's someone who knows people that know me. Like, I can't have shit popping off and it get back to my family.
Yeah, yo. Low key. And that's the thing too, is like, yeah, and I mean, I rode with a lot of guys these guys are cowboys, you know what I mean? They're not scared. They're not worried about police. I mean, I would ride with guys that would literally, okay, so this one guy, he doesn't even live in Maryland anymore. His nickname was Low, L-O. And Low has never owned a legal street bike and has never had a motorcycle license and will never get one. And Low is he's just that guy. He doesn't give a fuck. He hates cops. I mean, he just doesn't give a fuck. And Low's a little rough around the edges, but he's an alright guy. He's the kind of guy you want to have on your side in a bar fight, I'll put it to you that way. And yeah, man, Low would literally ride at the back of the pack on purpose because he loved to fuck with cops. I've seen him brake check a cop with his lights on. He's just like that. He is just fucking like that. And so it was always, if we're going anywhere, yeah, Low's at the back. Because he didn't give a fuck. Because everyone else will take off, be long gone. It's just a cop and Low's just like doing the speed limit. Come on. 5 miles down the road, he just does a wheelie and takes off like a bat out of hell and is just gone. And all of us, meanwhile, the rest of us are at B-dubs like, yo, Low, you good? You alive? You all right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was just...
And this is from the last, like, decent ride I did. Always stop for people that you see stopped on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was on my way home. I was going down 15, headed towards Frederick. A couple guys stopped doing something with a bike in a little pickup truck, and I, like, stopped, made sure they're good. They were like, yeah, we're good, and I went on my way. Maybe 5-10 minutes down the road, group of Harleys up ahead of me, maybe 8 of them. Rolling down the road, and one of them, like, I'm 2 or 3 cars back. One of them was like, very clearly something was up and hanging over, pulling over off from the left lane onto the shoulder on the right lane, and like 3 of his dudes passed him, and they just kept getting it. Like, his entire group just kept fucking getting it.
Yeah, see.
And I'm
not
stopped
with them anymore.
No, yeah, that's what he said. He's like, if these motherfuckers don't come back, like, I'm done. Like, this club is out. I was like, yeah, man, like, I'm on kind of a sport bike. If I see someone, like, I stop. That's like I might not be able to do anything. Like, in that case, I couldn't. But like, I made sure like he was good. His fucking transmission or his clutch went out or some shit, just entirely. And like, I waited there while he called his wife, trying to get a truck up there with a trailer and shit. Like, he's like, hey, man, thank you for stopping. Go ahead. I was like, you sure, man? Like, yeah. Always stop, because one day it's going to be you.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep, and that's the thing, too, is I just remember one time I had the stator go out on my GSX-R, which is the equivalent of the alternator. So the bike just stopped running. And I was close to where I was parking the bike at the time, but... Excuse me. But, yeah, I just remember, like, watching people ride past me on bikes, and I was like, you motherfuckers, like, you know damn well I need help, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, it ended up turning out fine. It wasn't like a big deal, but it's just like, I always stop. I'll stop people in cars. Like, if you pull over on the side of the road and your shit's on a jack stand, I know shit about working on cars, so I'll stop. If I can help you, great. If I can't, or if you're good, fine. I don't care.
And
whatever.
And like, if I'm in my truck and I see someone on a bike on the side of the road, like, my truck is a rolling shop. Like, I got you, man. If we can't figure it out, it'll go up in the bed, and we'll get you home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the unspoken code, the unspoken rules of riding. W. All right, I know we're probably a little bit over an hour now, huh?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, go ahead and lock this motherfucker down then.
Alrighty, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. As always, this has been the Top Kick Podcast. My name is Nick, and Maxi, why don't you tell them where they can find us, at least some of where they can find us until I figure out more.
Well, we have officially confirmed, it has been alleged that you can find us on Spotify, Apple, I believe.
Maybe?
50-50, flip a coin. If it's heads, check Apple. If it's tails, go to Spotify, like a fucking regular person. Okay? And you can definitely find us on YouTube. We of course encourage YouTube because YouTube has one of those fucked up ass algorithms where shit can go viral randomly just by like a couple likes and comments. So definitely check us out there.
All right, until next time, everybody.
Yeah, fuck you.
Fuck your mom.
Yeah, fuck your mom.